Greetings, mortals, and welcome. Please present your tickets for validation. Thank you. Your existence has been acknowledged, and you have been granted access every Thursday and Friday. You will be accompanying your guides, Krista and Brandy, along with a world-renowned guest. They will be exploring an intriguing tendril of what humans refer to as reality each week, as they strive to advance you further down the path to the truths of your physical earth and what lies on the other side. Remember to please keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and do not exit until the craft has come to a complete stop.
Hey, happy Thursday. Welcome. Sorry for the late start, everybody. We got to BS and backstage, and lo and behold, there's time.
That's what always happens when Bryan's on the show. I don't care what anybody says.
Yep. So anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and got some interesting things to talk about tonight. Brandy's gonna start us off here in just a bit. And but we definitely want Bryan's input on this. So before you start talking about that, we'll have him up with us.
Yes.
Most definitely. Real quick, before we get to rolling, got a couple things to talk about. I gotta find them because, I just do. They're lost. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Okay. There we go, Brandy.
Where is it? Okay, everyone. It's almost time. If you haven't got your tickets, get them now. This is October, 26th? Gosh, that's just a few weeks away. Anyway, this is going to be at Ray County Museum in Richmond, Missouri. It's a fantastic day we're going to have with a Cryptid 101 and a Paranormal 101. Then we're going to have dinner. And then we're going to ghost hunt all night. But if you can't stay all night, you can just, hang out for the day. We're going to have great people there. We're going to have Greg Ogles, who's going to be releasing his new documentary in January, which is really exciting. Our friend Paranormal Paul. We have some friends from Paranormal After Dark that are going to be there. And it's just going to be a fantastic day. So if you go to Eventbrite, hit Blondes and Booze, it should be the first thing that pops up. All the information you need should be there. If not, contact us at blondesandbooze@gmail.com and we'll get back with you.
Yep, absolutely. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun night. And it's our last public event of the year that we're doing. So it'll be a good time. It always is. And if anything, just come hang out with us. So anyway, we appreciate everybody once again for tuning in. I got to tell you, so I've been kind of MIA this month, and, I've had a lot of things going on. My kids had homecoming and all kinds of stuff. So, Tex and, Paranormal Paul, Donny Cho,
Jason, they're all filling in for us as we're going through the
BMR
journey. Yeah.
Everybody's been filling in for us, and definitely we appreciate them guys more than they know it. But Brandy, last week, what did you think of my show cover?
We actually had to stop and talk about this show cover because we thought it was the best darn thing ever.
No, right? That took me a bit to do. I'm just saying, okay, I kept changing the wording. I'm there it is. Close enough.
Yeah. And then it got into a whole conversation how Tex and Donny say they look like twins.
Okay.
I'm okay, guys.
That's too funny. But yeah, I've seen that when that come up because I was I'm going to be kind of, and I was there it is. Perfect. So
it was perfect. And we laughed. I mean, that was a good conversation about that picture.
So anyway, fun. So I want to go ahead and bring up our friend, Sir Bryan Bowden. Hello.
I am dying back here that Tex and Donny look like twins. I'm sorry, it's just,
isn't that hilarious?
Yeah, it's just that was great. That was great. And I'm loving the whole dinner dancing and the dead thing, over there. So I wish I can go. But
Yeah, you could
like
too.
yourself,
Anytime you're in Missouri, look us up.
yep, homecoming, football games, swim
Mhm.
team. I mean, it never ends. And
Yeah.
hello everybody in the chat, werewolf. Oh, Jojo, everybody, I appreciate being back on with you ladies, and it's always fun and
Always
love being
have
here.
you
But
on.
that text thing, I just see that image of the Step Brothers. They're in that cardigan sweaters. Him and Donnie, they got to recreate that.
Right.
It's
Right.
got to.
Do that. I'm gonna send it out to you once this is over. I'm gonna do a little Photoshop magic for that one.
Right. Too funny.
There you
Yeah.
go. There
I
you
made it
go.
and I didn't say nothing to none of them. I'm like,
No. And then we got on the show. We're like, what is that?
Look like twins. Oh my
Right.
god, that's
Right.
crazy. Yeah, it's been crazy down here.
Yeah. Too funny. Too funny. You would open us up and then talk about something I know that happened, something that's kind of making you say,
What's making me
Right.
go?
What,
Well,
crazy.
yeah. There's a lot going on. This my other half, who doesn't believe in crap, pardon the expression, who saw a giant UFO fly over the car, and she was out the moonroof when we were dating. Wakes up early. She woke up early to get one of my children to school. I don't know. In my day, we didn't have to get to school at 6:30 in the morning. No, that was not going to happen.
Mine either.
But some of these kids do, SGA, whatever you want to call it. And she goes, "This is what I caught." And she caught a UFO on the horizon. And it was very interesting. It's the same UFO I've seen in multiple places. It was the same UFO that and I posted the videos. They are on. If you go to Bryan, Bryan Bowden on the YouTube side, just type up Bryan Bowden, one word. They're under the UFO list, as well as the Third Eye Live, which is eventually going to be my new show if I have the moment to do it. And it's the same UFO I've seen before. It changes red, orange, green, blue, purple, violet, and it's moving and it's vibrating. It changes its shape. It goes from a diamond to a triangle, and then it zigzags and puffs out. What I didn't tell her or my kids is that is the UFO I saw in I think we were looking for houses around 2020, 21, whatever, when we were driving back and forth from New York down to Florida. That's the one that I saw just prior to waking up. It was supposed to be 11:45. Got up at 3:00 in the morning, and we were all basically taken aboard a craft for the most part. That's what I think it was. Well, I didn't let her in on that secret, and I can't do it because my youngest, it'll cost me so much money in psychology bills, doctor bills. She's getting better at it. She saw the fleet of UFOs down here last December. She saw the one that flew over the house 3 weeks later. She's like, "They're back," and I'm like, "You may not like that," because I'm not one of those people, and I don't rarely believe in the Galactic Federation. For the most part, I don't think there's a giant table with all these really weird Star Wars cantina looking characters going, "All right, before we go prod somebody, who wants Chinese, raise your tentacles, or pizza?" I just don't see it. I think it's a great narrative and it's a great story to calm people down. I just think that they are, and I've explained this before, there are multiple races of extraterrestrials with their own agendas that have been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are trying to reseed their race. And you can do that through experiments. So alien DNA, human DNA. And when you make that, eventually you're going to get alien, human, then alien, human, then human, alien. And you could weed it out over breeding. So, yeah, so that was just the other day. This was literally like yesterday, I believe this happened. But something I've been doing is I've been writing. Everybody's like, you should write a book. Well, I'm writing 3 or 4 in the same time. I'm doing one with Ron Murphy. He's going to kill me because we've been doing
Ron
this.
is awesome.
Ron's great. Ron is the Encyclopedia Britannica of paranormal, you know, which is going to be interesting. But I was writing things and researching Dogman. I was doing it for Bigfoot and UFOs, but there is a connection between the Dogman being and Bigfoot. And it's really interesting that this is near the Land of the Lakes, your event.
Wow.
Because I've been looking where we are in Florida is down at the bottom of it. So if the crap hits the fan, I need some way to get inland. And one of the places I'm looking at is over in Tennessee, which overlooks Lands of the Lake. So yeah, I'm looking to, you know, get a small piece, a couple of acres and a double wide trailer.
Well, that's only 3 hours from Brandy and I.
Well, that would be great because then you can use my house as a starting point if you want to go investigate Land of the Lakes.
That'd be awesome.
That would be great. We can reverse that too. But I've been doing a lot of research because of my past. This is from my experience over 45 plus years. And I was a flesh and blood guy at one point with Bigfoot, and we all were. But I had personal experiences. I've seen video you'll never see because they will not release it. People will not release these things, but they know what I do. And I know there's more to Bigfoot than flesh and blood. I'm thoroughly convinced it can become flesh and blood, and then it can change its molecular structure and form of energy into something that is more like light based, and then it goes interdimensional because it has the ability to do it.
Right.
And one of the things I don't see, the problem is I need a Bigfoot so I can actually do some science on it. I did study physics and astronomy, and I know people that do genetic stuff, so this would work out great.
Sure.
But I've figured out how these creatures are changing and being able to use active camouflage. And we've all seen the blob squatch. Raise your hands, everybody. I've seen them. Everybody gets freaked, like it's just a blob. Well, there's a whole dynamic behind that scientifically, and it has to do with the visual spectrum of light and how this creature and its hairs and its body change and can alter the look of it. So have you ever seen a hummingbird?
Oh yeah.
And you know that depending on how hummingbirds fly, the colors change, correct?
Yeah.
It's very, very weird. It's not like an octopus, but there are certain parts of the hummingbird that will change, and the colors will change color. And there are certain colors that are natural. Blue is not. Blue has to be chemically. This one bird, you have to eat a certain variety of food from the ground to actually help to enhance the color into that blue. But in general, it's all scientific, and it gets into, and I don't want to give you a science lesson or it won't be on the final, but it gets into quantum physics, nanoparticles, and soft physics. Now, soft physics is the gooey stuff and how goo operates and how it fills in. And that gets into melatonin, and it gets into some other secretions that will come out of a creature or enhance or get larger or smaller, depending on how excited they are. But what basically happens is I've told this to you. You ever have Jay Bachochin on Finding Jay out of Wisconsin?
Yeah, we've had him.
Jay is one of my favorites. And in the Finding Jay, I was watching it, and there's a scene where they're getting rocks thrown at it, and they hear it, and they're getting rocks thrown. I'm like, what's going? It's got to be around here someplace. And they're looking, and the camera angle is straight, and there's a branch there in the woods, and they're looking through the woods, and you can see the camera moving. They don't see anything, but you see the branch by itself start bending a bit, and I'm like, right in front of your face.
Right.
Because what this creature, in my opinion, can do is it changes, it starts to secrete certain types of clear liquid, which is it's creating on and it's going not only through their skin, but also their hairs.
Oh, wow.
Now, I think it was MK David, or I'm not sure. He
MK
says he
Davis.
has the hair. Right, Davis. I mean, well, if you look at the hair on that he found, there's no medulla in the center of it, or it's very weird. But there actually is. If you look at it, there's some kind of pitting that.
Oh,
we lost him. Wait.
we
what
lost.
happened there?
Where did I go? I didn't know. I was trying to get to my little photos to give you guys. So am I still there now?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're back. You're here.
Yeah, I was trying to share something with you, to try to explain it to you. The reason why birds, the reason why butterflies and a lot of these animals are seeing, and they change color of their wings and their what they look like, with the exception of the gecko or the chameleon. And octopus, they do it a little bit differently, is because there is a pitting system in the makeup of all those feathers. And it's we're talking about nanoparticles. We're talking about like 1/100th of a hair, really, really small. And what happens is, depending on how much melatonin grows or is added to it, and then how much liquid's in there, it reflects and refracts light in a way that it changes color. Well, if you combine that with electromagnetic pulsing, which this is why you start losing. My batteries are dead. Well, I just put a fresh battery in this camera. This is a side effect. This creature has the ability to draw energy from the surrounding area. Okay, and that means the easiest ones are these damn batteries in your phone or your camera. It's so readily available. They suck it in and they change it on an electromagnetic scale. So what happens is, when you're there, your eyes can only see a certain spectrum of light, like this wide, but they go out further. So they go into the infrared and the microwave direction. And this is what we call active camouflage, just like the predator. That stuff. And I've seen tons of this before. And if you combine that with the fact that when we change energy from one form to another, you need more energy to convert energy. It's an old science thing. You probably learned it a long time ago in elementary school.
Yep.
When you get to a certain point, there's a pop. There's like, it gets to like an event horizon, and there's always like a spark. And this is when people, there were these orbs in the woods, and then all of a sudden this Bigfoot came. This is all part of that metamorphosis of this creature. And this is just my personal opinion. I'm throwing some science behind it. Ronald Moorhead, who I love, he did Quantum Bigfoot. I've had this for a while, and then I started reading Quantum Bigfoot, and I literally messaged his ass, and I'm like, Ron,
great book. I have it as well.
Yes, I was like, and we talked for like an hour off, privately, and I'm like, and we started going some theories and whatever. And one of them, I think, down the line is, with all those, people in your chat that go out in the woods, when you go to picnic, when you go down to the pond to go in the summer, you go on YouTube or you go on whatever, and you're always videotaping, taking pictures. Oh, look at the kids. One day, through quantum physics, we will create a filter, just like a plugin, and you are going to your mind will be blown what you will be able to see once you apply that filter to your images or your videos. I guarantee you these things will start popping right out, because there's nothing to hide them. It'll figure out a way to change the structure or the visual light spectrum to bring it in. And it's probably going to come with AI at this point.
Right.
So this is what I've been focused on. And I'm trying, unfortunately, the storm and my heart and everything I have go out to all the people affected by the
absolutely the hurricane.
storm.
Yes.
I'm just praying for everybody. And one of my was on the west coast of Florida, big time. He makes movies. Stevie Strings. He's known as Creature Man Films. I'm trying to get out to the woods now on the West Coast when it's but I say it's winter time, but it's like 93 degrees, so it's not winter time down here, And my point of view is we went when it was really hot last like April, May. I mean, it was brutal. It was like a beast out there. And I know I got a knuckle prints on the right side of my car. I know something was watching me, but I had like 1 hour of sleep, and I said, I don't care if you're there. I just put my hand on my firearm and I went to bed in my car because it was air conditioned. But I want to go out there because I feel that with the weather conditions being cooler, we're going to have a successful expedition, if you would, over there. And this is Class A areas that he has. So This is where I am right now. But along with you, Krista, student government, football games, proms, whatever it is, like, you're always being pulled in different directions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gets rough sometimes, let me tell you. Oh, Brandy.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're running on no sleep and just asking for a prayer. That's about it.
Yeah. Go.
I can't, I've tried to go to sleep. I have to, I try even taking sleeping pills and I've been getting up a lot at 3:00 in the morning, and they have a lot to say about that. Like you're getting messages and stuff.
See, I wake up all the time too.
And sometimes you wake up and you feel something weird. It's just something's not right. But you're so tired. You're like, I don't care.
Or I wake up with a real vivid dream that I just had.
Yep. Had those recently. And some weird things that down the line start to come public. Different events, especially what's been going on with missiles and rockets and in the Middle East and or if you look at what took place with this hurricane and you look at the there's a map of I think it's the end of the world map. I forgot the name of it. It shows the Earth. It shows the United States, and
like the Google Maps or something.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have it, and I can share it with you if you'd like, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here it is. This is the Armageddon map or whatever they want to call it, and I just shared it to you.
It's not coming up.
There it goes.
There it comes. Okay. So
if you look at that, you can see. I'm going to see if I can bring this in a little bit, get a little bit tighter. Look at where the waterway that's coming.
Yep, I see that.
Great Lakes down.
Wow, Brandy, that's you. You're in the river.
I'm going to be coming to live with somebody else, evidently, because I won't be
Right
here.
to where Brandy is.
I won't be here. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, like, at that bottom part of Florida, I'm in that area there, right there. But if you look at it, to the right is Atlantis.
Wow.
And literally they put Atlantis, 2 Atlantises. So hopefully they have a Hilton or Hilton's honor program, and I can go.
Wow.
Well, maybe I'll just go live there. I don't.
You know what?
I'm going to have to go somewhere, evidently, according to that map.
Right. I think it's, I think that someone put it in there. I want to say either 2057 was where it was, but the whole world's going to change by then. But I mean, like, how crazy is it, right? We have 2 moons.
2057?
2057. It's not that far away.
I was just going to say that's pretty close.
That's around the corner. Okay. And if you go into some crazier stuff, prediction wise, these are the things I have these things, I'm sleeping and it's vivid. And I think we talked about this before, where when you go to bed and you let everything about the day go away, this is when you actually are connecting to source, and you connect to your spirit guides, you connect to your guardian angels, you get connect to the if you want to call it the Akash record, whatever you want it is. There's a little bit of transfer information. You upload, you get downloads that you may or may not remember, and some of it may be in the form of what you would call a dream, right? So there was Brandy and Krista, and Tex was dancing like a whirling dervish, and then BMR started breakdancing. I think, you know, that's a dream where it's kind of like
right.
Versus what I get is it's an actual experience. You actually someone put Corey Feldman up there. I'm just seeing him dancing, and that's hysterical. It's hideous. But when there's dreams, and then there's actual experiences, and the experiences when you know every detail because you are actually doing what you are seeing and feeling.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, holy crap. And I've talked about it. I've had experiences where I was there's another guy, his name's Arizona Tramp. He used to have a Black Swamp radio out of Ohio. And everything was darkened. We were in a facility trying to get people out from an evil group of people up this mountain into a craft that was on the top of the mountain. And he came in with another person, a female, you know, younger than him. And he's like, when I tell you, this is how he talked. When I tell you, you press that button. I'm like, okay, press the button when you tell me. When I tell you, you press that. I'm like, I got it. I mean, this is how he does it. He repeats himself. And I'm watching I could describe to a T everything. I can describe what the button looked like, and the color of the room, the smell of the room, everything. And I woke up the next day. I was like, just want to thank you, Tramp, for I'll press the button next time. And he also, at that point, had a same vision. He had something very similar. He goes, you saw that? And I'm like, saw it. I lived it. And when you have an experience versus a dream, you wake up tired. Right? So if you have a dream, like I think it was cutting grass, I don't know, but in the experience, you're actually cutting grass and you're learning and you're moving. You're having that experience. That's real. Another time, how many people over here actually have had those things where you felt like you're going in an elevator or you're dropping?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why that is taking place? You're not dropping in an elevator.
Of course we want to know.
Your out of body experience is now going back into your body. That's why you dropped.
Oh, wow.
You just went back into your body. And the reason why all this can happen is you don't have mommy, mom, dad, mom, you know, bills, you know, people in the chat, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You're one with where you need to be. You've had an out of body experience and you came back in. And you could just think about that. Like, we were in this roller coaster and they'll give you, it's kind of like pareidolia, but through experience. They'll put it, see, I had a dream about a roller coaster or dropping in an elevator, because that's when you get it. But what you're really doing is you're reconnecting with your physical body. So you went to the source, you got your download and stuff, or whoever you were supposed to talk to, or whatever you're supposed to get, and you went down. And you reconnect, and you wake up, and then you go to sleep again.
So does it matter? Let me ask you, because I've noticed when that happens to me, I'm extremely exhausted.
Because it's when you go, if you go out and do errands all day and you're moving and doing them, right? And you get in the car, you go, you walk here, if you're hiking in your dream and whatever, and you're going up a mountain and you're doing it. That's why you're exhausted, because you just spent 8 hours of your life actually doing what you think was in your head. You were physically doing. Now, because you were technically on a spiritual end out of your body, your physical body was resting there, laying there like nothing. Your mind remembers it and you're tired. It's a long day. Yeah. It's a very, very long day. It doesn't end. And then
let me ask you one more question along the lines of that. So when you have a dream with someone else in it, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Do you believe that both of your spirits are actually like talking and mingling, or no?
Okay, so it for me, I kind of believe like when you're dreaming of somebody,
Mhm.
and that means that they're thinking of you or dreaming of you as well. So there's some kind of mutual connection there. It could be a love connection. It could be a former love connection. It could be whatever. So I kind of have a feeling about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is something connecting you two.
Yeah.
It's but again, it depends on the situation. Your mind, not that it plays tricks on you like psychology. You want to have that relationship with person X,
Right.
and so you want it, and you're really pushing for it. So it may be partially subconscious,
Mhm.
but if this happens more than once and there's a connection there, you're connected. What's up, Rob? There's a connection there, and a lot of times women who have given birth, even some that haven't, they've adopted, but they're so close.
Right.
They'll have it's called premonitions, but it'll be a dream. I'm like something's going to happen, and then it happens.
Mhm.
You're connected. You're seeing part of that path that person A or B is on. Sometimes people are envious of you.
Mhm.
They don't want to believe what you're saying, or they're jealous, or they, whatever. And sometimes people may want to. They're doing something no good for you, like they're speaking behind your back or whatever, and you'll have a dream like that, or a situation where they kind of mess you up or screw you over,
Mhm.
or you get that burning in the ear. That's
Mhm.
another tell. Like if your ear's burning, they always say, "Oh, someone's talking about you," and not
Right.
you talking about you. It's different than when you ring in the ear.
Right.
So yeah, I think that is connected. I just saw somebody a while ago. We have 2 moons right now because we have an asteroid that is
I
gotten
had
in,
this card. Yep.
yeah, gotten into the orbit of our moon for the next, I think it's 30 or a couple of days, or I don't know, is it 2 months?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see this other object, but there's also other theories that there already is 2 moons, but we won't go into that right now.
That's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
weird.
read up on the 2 moon thing, and they said this is not the first time it's happened. It's just
Yeah.
this is the first time it's been very, very visible. So
Freaky.
As long as it's not coming our way at this point, I mean,
72
like
days.
72 days. Well, you know what? That's a 9. I like that number. I do number things too. It's
Yep.
really crazy. It's just what it is. This is part of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to get back to that moon thing, because I know someone mentioned it. So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
I kind of find it odd, right? It's kind of like that Star Wars stuff, like when they're on the planet, you see 3 other planets there. Like, as long as we don't have the cantina, we'll be good.
right. Right.
Yes. So that's what I've been doing. I can keep talking if you want, but
You're a busy guy.
I want to breathe a little bit. Yeah, you know what?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell a story. I mean, I've
Sure.
told this story. What's that?
Oh, I said sure.
Right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I wanted to tell this story about, what had happened. And if you've watched our channel a lot, you've seen it. I'm going to tell you the story, and then I'm going to go a little bit farther into it. I was on my way to work. It was very, very early in the morning. It was still dark outside. I was going into town, and I'm driving, and I'm thinking about everything under the sun. I'm a morning thinker. That's my problem. I'm a morning thinker. And as I'm driving in, I have to turn this corner. Well, there's no houses right there. The restaurants that are over there are closed. There's nobody around. I mean, it's this early in the morning. So I look over, and the first street light that I come to as I'm coming into town, I see like a black shadow of somebody walking up to the road. So I'm thinking, okay, there's somebody coming. It doesn't surprise me. There's strange people everywhere. So I look back at the road to make sure I stay on the road. I look back to see if this person was going to cross because I don't want to hit them, and they're gone. There's not a ditch there for them to hide in. They couldn't hide behind anything. There's nothing to hide behind. There's nothing. All of a sudden, I had this very putrid smell of burnt oil, like oil that's been in a fryer for way too long and it's way too hot. And I had that smell for like a quarter mile as I was driving, and then it just dissipated and was gone. And for the life of me, I can't recreate it. I can't debunk it. I can't do anything with what had happened in its entirety. Well, as we know, strange things started happening, real weird things. I mean, I know that I have things at home that were happening, but it seemed like something else came with me, and that things that didn't normally happen started happening. Voices I never heard before, I started hearing. And it was just a crazy mess. I mean, it's still happening as of today. Let me see, last Sunday, I did a show, Truth or Tinfoil, that Randy Gilbert and I do every Sunday. And as I'm doing this, like I normally do on the shows, my mouth is shut, and you hear a woman's voice come over, breaks in. There's kind of like a, I don't know, it sounds like an electrical type of noise, and then you hear a sound. It wasn't me. We broke down the video, we broke down the audio, we separated everything, and it was not me. So anyway, back to what I come across on this corner. We never figured it out. Like I said, I couldn't debunk it. Something strange has been happening. Now, 2 people have been killed in that same area, 1 each month in the last 2 months.
And how long ago, though? This was a while back when you seen that dark figure. It was over a year ago.
It was over. If it was over a year ago, I know it was cold, so I don't remember if it was last year or in 2024, but I know it was cold. But things are always happening up here. There's strange occurrences, just crazy things are happening. But these 2 deaths were very bizarre. The one was an accident with a motorized bike, which happened in September. And then Krista, I think, has the TV footage of the newscasters talking about this one that had happened just 2 days ago. Now, this is all in this same area.
Yeah.
So, Krista, if you want to go ahead and bring that up, and I'm going to...
Let me find it again.
It was 2 days ago that this one happened. And it was very bizarre.
I lost
it. Look up the car crashes.
Yeah.
And I mean, the crazy thing about this is that there's always things happening. There's always accidents and things like that. Not that it's a bad intersection. I mean, if you just follow the lights, it's fine. But it's something about this particular area. I don't know if I could put a triangle or a circle around it. I don't know what it would be, but it's very strange.
Let me ask you this: when you had that smell in the morning in the shadow, that was about a year ago, or was that recent?
I know it was cold.
Was a while back. Yes.
It was a while back. Okay. So, and you had that smell for about a quarter mile, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it was at the same intersection where all this other stuff's happened, the e-bike accident.
Right in that same area. Yes.
Okay. Do you have on your car, or have you been in a car in that area, and you have those whatever they're called, the distance sensors on your car?
Or something?
No.
Yeah, I do, but I don't have them engaged.
It's like that parking thing. So if you get too close, it's sonar.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have that engaged. I don't. I have the ones where if you get too close to the white line or something, that it will shake my steering wheel.
Okay. So all right, I'm just trying to figure this out. But then after that event, you've had stuff happen in home. You said How
yeah.
long after it just continues and continues?
Well,
To
yeah,
this day?
it just keeps
Okay.
continuing. It keeps continuing.
Like is it more a mischiefy thing or is it like really malicious?
It's nothing really.
It's
It's
every once
almost
in a
like
blue
it's
moon.
hanging out. Every once in a while, it does a little something.
Mhm.
So
Like it breaks into one of our podcasts.
no, I
And it's happened
100%,
several times.
100%. So
And it's not malicious. I don't. It's just sometimes you'll hear things fall, be moved around. Cabinet doors will open in my kitchen. You can hear them. You can hear
and
them
it never
shut.
happened prior to that morning for the most part.
Things have happened in this house, yes. But
Okay.
like I said,
It's different.
it's different.
Yeah.
No,
And you know what I mean by different.
I totally get it. Let me
Mhm.
ask you if you could recall, and this may be a stretch here. Do you know what your mood was like or your energy was like in that morning or what you were
Yeah.
thinking? Was there anything good or bad you were thinking? Well, was there anything bad or negative that was worrying you or troubling you?
No, all it was is it's I thought it was a very important part of the story because I wasn't focused on what I needed to be focused on. Like I
Mhm.
said, I'm a morning thinker. So it's kind of like, okay, I've got to do
Right.
this and I've got to do this and I've got to get to work on time. Did I remember my lunch? Did I remember this? Does my children have what they need? Blah, blah, blah. So it was all those things going on. And I was not focused like I normally am.
And that could have caused an accident, correct? If you weren't as focused thinking
Yeah.
about it.
And yeah, it very well could have. It very well could have because
So
I just wasn't there. Right.
my impressions of all of what you just said and what I saw in my mind's eye, because this is how I operate, and it sucks. I'm revealing a secret that I really shouldn't, but I don't pry into your business. Okay. But when someone tells me something, if it's valid and true, I see it play out in my head as
Mhm.
if I'm watching in a movie. And when someone's bullshitting me, I get nothing. I'm
Mhm.
not one of those guys like, oh, you're all full of, whatever. I'll just go, oh, that's interesting. And I'll know that they're saying whatever they're saying, either to save face or be part of the crew, whatever it is,
Mhm.
unless they're trying to take advantage. I think you picked up a hitchhiker.
That's what
And
I
And
said.
you-
That's
and-
what I
and
said.
You picked up a hitchhiker,
Mhm.
and there was an accident there, and that's where you get the burnt oil smell. There was a fire and a burnt oil accident, and they went in your vehicle, and that's why you were smelling it, and they
Mhm.
picked them up, and they liked your energy for whatever reason, and it was like the twilight and the perfect timing, and the female. This is why I don't think you're really getting any other problems. They're just, I think this was a long time ago when the accident took place. May not be any one of these two that you're talking about, but there
Mhm.
may have been an initial accident there, which left a mark on it. It may have been so violent and filled with energy that it left a recording on that magnetic strip over there. That's the residual thing. That's why some ghosts or hauntings just replay.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, I'm Tom. That's 2 second Tom. Hi, I'm Tom.
But
So
just to
yeah.
let you know, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but just to let you know how weird it is in that section there, just maybe, I don't know, a tenth of a mile from that intersection, a few years ago, a tree fell over and killed two people in their vehicle on a dry day. It hadn't even rained. It just fell out of the blue. It's just a strange area.
So here's a little bit more to that. I think you pick up the hitchhiker, and this person is very curious about you. That's why I was asking, is it malicious or whatever? It's just a little bit of cabinets opening up. Just think about it. Like, if you grew up in the 30s, 40s, and then you hitchhiked on a car, you had an accident, and then you got someone's house, you're like, what's this? And you open the door and you're, and you could pull energy. They know, when we are all in this subject matter, we are more open, and they know it. We shine.
Right.
There's some of us that are light workers, and it's a beacon. It's just like being in a lighthouse. on a lake or in the ocean,
Mhm.
and they're like, I'm going there. Kids are the worst.
Real quick, Brian.
Yeah.
Ron Ivy Forrest asked, "What's a hitchhiker? Like a real person?" Will you explain what our terminology hitchhiker is, please?
Okay, so there are people, spirits, that if they like your vibe and you have a crack in your shell, you're a little bit absent-minded, things are going, you're depressed, you're sick, they could see it in your aura and they're like, oop, I'm gonna get a free ride here. And they jump in and they attach themselves to your essence. That's a hitchhiker.
Yep.
Some of them do this purposely to take over. And let's say you see somebody like, why is Bob at the bar right now? It's like 9 a.m. Well, he picked up a hitchhiker, and that hitchhiker hasn't had scotch or tequila in 100 years, and they want a whiskey. This is where sometimes it happens. They do people start doing strange things. Sometimes they're just, I don't want to be in this area anymore. And then they go with you. They're like, I like it here. This is nice. Oh, what's this? And they're not malicious. Some of them are malicious. Some of them are nasty. So it's I don't want to say it's a possession. It's like someone getting into your car at a light. They just hop into your car. And you don't know it because you don't have to use the door. They'll just go, they slide in and you go and you're driving around and they could be messing with you at the time. That's a hitch. It happens to people that are just allow their guard to be down.
Brandy, I gotta tell you, I think this has been longer than a year ago because Freaky Geek makes a comment. She has ghosts that travel with her from time to time.
Yeah.
That happened over a year ago when we went to Tennessee.
So like Freaky Geek is talking about.
I knew it was cold, so it probably did. I lose track.
Going on almost 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, we have a different vibe. We are way different than most regular people. Like I said, there's certain things that very few things scare me. It's the only thing that really scares me is a doctor going, it's a girl, and getting that again. I don't need that anymore. But like I've been into places and I'm seeing stuff go on and I'm like, okay, got it. I get my bed, the foot of my bed goes down by itself.
Wow.
Like if your dog came into the bed or your child sat down or someone sitting there. Yeah. And I'm at night, like 3 a.m, and I'm like, I'm yelling at it. F off. I'm going to bed.
Right.
Shop closed. I don't want to deal with you. So some people have such a good vibe about them. It's better than the situation they were in. So they'll just travel. And then it's kind of like a relationship. It's like, wow, I really like Brandy. Oh, she's going to a party. I'm going to go. And they travel with you. And then someone.
They definitely do.
Well, here's the plus and minus of this. You could always bless your house, have the priest come in or a shaman and do whatever you want to get rid of it. That's your choice. But sometimes there are stories where someone does have a hitchhiker, and they've helped them out in a situation where it happens a lot more to women than men because men aren't open as much to this stuff.
Right.
And there's I don't remember the exact story, but basically a woman's getting out of like a bar, she had a hitchhiker or a spirit guide, if you want to call it, but it was a hitchhiker. And she was going to be approached by these people, these men, and these guys backed off. Like the spirit turned into something. Usually it happens like if you have a spirit guide or, sometimes a dog can be a spirit guide or a cat, then they appear next to you. You do not see it, but they make themselves visible to the other people, and they may appear as a dog man, like this big cow thing, like stay away from her. And this is what they do. So it can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a nasty thing, and they'll mess around and they'll get into things. That's when you really got to say, get the hell out. And they don't necessarily always go with you. Like, I like it here. She's going to be back at 8. I'm just going to turn the TV on.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's really weird, but it does happen.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like to me, it's like when I go on trips. Not when I go to work, not when I'm just gone, maybe even overnight, but when I go on longer trips, and I'm excited to go and I know that they can feel what I'm putting off. Like I'm excited, I want to go, and they're like, "Hey, I want to go too. I want to go. I want to go."
Yeah, Rob actually asked a question about it. Can it start out okay and then get bad? Yes, it can get bad. They do, it can get possessive. Just imagine living like in a bad situation, constantly reliving your death over and over again. Then you meet somebody, you're like, "Ooh, this is great," and they're like, "Oh, but they're not paying attention to me. I want more attention.
Right.
I need to talk to somebody." They can get possessive, and then they could create tension or do things, and they just like, "Oh, I just got touched. Why'd you pull my hair? I didn't pull your hair." That's good. So it does get that way. And again, I believe everybody has spirit guides, guardian angel spirit guides. I know mine drink heavily. I don't know where the hell they've been, but sometimes they also could be accepting of them, and they join you as well, and they keep them in check sometimes. I'll tell you, I always ask, I want to talk to my spirit guides. I want to talk to you guys, or men, women, whatever. I was told they have a little English guy with blondish hair that's one of my guides. And I'm like, great. I have a pompous ass, Englishman. It's like, pretty good, but I'd like to talk to him. I'd like to say, like, can you please? I mean, I know you're not there to help me. You're not going to give me the lottery numbers. No one is.
Right.
Do the quick pick. But can you point me in the direction I need to go? Can you just give me something so I have okay, I got a sign. And a lot of times they won't, but sometimes you get family members also along with the hitchhikers and whatever, like you may have relatives, grandparents or whatever, like that passed on, and they're like, "Don't mess with her. That's my baby girl. Don't mess with her." And so there's a lot of variables there. It's interesting. But as long as it's not doing anything bad, just go with the flow.
Yeah.
It could help you out if you can figure out, like, hey, can you do the laundry while I sit here for a couple hours?
I know. Can you, I don't know, change the bed sheets, do something, please.
I mean, see, that's where it would be kind of interesting. Like, that would be a great series. Like, oh my God, I got company coming over, I haven't cleaned. Can you mop? And then the mop, okay.
Yeah. I will tell you. So the Ray County Museum that we go to all the time, that we're having this event at, it was a weekend, and it was Saturday afternoon, like 2:00 in the afternoon, and we were literally cleaning house. And my friend Erin, she was had the broom, and literally the dustpan moved towards her.
That's cool.
So they do clean. They do.
They'll help you out. They're like, "Here, you're gonna need that."
Yeah.
I do screen printing and branding stuff, right? So all the hats and whatever. We used to do all these parties like quinceañeras, sweet 16s, bar mitzvah, whatever it is in New York, whatever. And there was an event coming up, and it was going to be on a Saturday, and our client said, "Can you drop this off at the place where we're having it?" So it's one of those like wedding factories, or those places, the buildings where it's for weddings, it's for any type of party, blah, 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 blah. Nobody was there. It was the day. It was like,
wow,
like 12:00. The only person that was in the building was the party planner for the event. So, we have been up all night, and, my other half goes in, and she's talking to them, and we bring in all these boxes, put it in the room. Thank God it's out of our hands now. It's on you now. And I said, I'll run back. I'm going to the restroom. So all the lights are off in the interior. The only thing that's open is the office. No one's there. So I walk in, I walk down the hallway, because the hallway to the bathroom had a couple of these really nice fixtures on there. I walk into the men's room. And when you walk into the men's room, there are a couple of stalls, 3 stalls. There's about 6 sinks with a nice marble top and mirror. And then on the opposite end of the the restroom there, the toilets, are the urinals. It's a typical wedding place. There's like 6 urinals. I go over to we can go to the urinals, ladies. Sorry. Thank God. And as I'm standing there doing my business, the sink goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them turn in, and I hear the water running. And there's a paper towel on the counter. So I go over, I wash my hands with the soap in that sink, and I say, thank you very much. Put it away, shut it off. Come to find out, there is a men's room attendant that died.
Oh, that's cool.
And they believe it's him.
Not cool that he died. Don't get me wrong, but that he
No. But he, I don't, he must have enjoyed work, and he literally was doing his job. Now, I know if that happened to 99% of the people I know, well, outside the paranormal, they probably would have needed Depends at the end of that. They would have been screaming, running out, whatever. And I said, thank you, have a great day. And I shut it off. It was one of the coolest ghost events ever, that awesome. Stuff to happen. So I love that stuff. But here's something that's very interesting. If you have those sensors on your car, like you're getting too close to somebody, they detect ghosts.
Really?
I swear to God, they're like those.
I have that on camera.
I think I'm gonna have to turn it back on now.
Turn it back on. I go. It's the same. I've been 4 different vehicles. When I used to drive from Florida back up to New York, I always stopped Elkton, Maryland, right off of 95. Okay, or on the way down, I stop there. And I go to my favorite place on the planet, Waffle House, because you got to go to Waffle.
Got to go to Waffle House.
Me and Brandy hit Waffle House all the time. Yes.
All the time. So when you get off the highway to go to, you take one way. Either if you're coming south, it's the same way as you're going north. But when you go back and you make the right out of this Waffle House to get back to 95, and you're going to go south on the highway, you go under 95. Every time in the same damn spot, it says object, like if someone's right in the middle of the road. Every time, 4 different vehicles, 4 different sensors.
Wow, that's
so cool. I'm like, let me check this theory out. So up in New York, there's an area kind of like that street you were, or that area where you were, Brandy. There happened to be a ton of accidents there. And I'm standing there, I've had this in several locations. Nobody's in front of me, no wind, no rain, and it says somebody's walking in front of you. You know how it lights up on your dashboard, like where they are? And it goes from the right side to the left, or the left to the right. There's no animal. There's no deer. It has to be at least 3 feet tall or higher to hit those sensors. So I believe they are detecting spirits that and are reliving those moments when they keep going back and forth, Well,
spilling tea with Spunky Sparky ass. My side mirrors notify me of objects in my blind spot. A ton, with nothing there. Any thoughts, Sir Bryan?
Same principle. Same thing.
Yeah.
That is the same thing. There's something about these sensors. And I remember I was a big Xbox guy. Got it before, everybody, whatever. And I read about the Kinect because it was an amazing camera. It can tell your blood pressure. They can tell how much blood's flowing. That's how sensitive the 3 sensors were. And when you put it up and you connect it, it said unknown guest, right? It'll float wherever you are. And then you map your profile to that. So then it knows, oh, Brian's here, Brandy's here, Krista's here. So I'm sitting there. And in my apartment building, it's like Grand Central Station for spirits. It's not a great place. I'm sitting there one day and I'm like, whatever. The Kinect comes on and it says unknown player or whatever it was right next to me. And I look over, nothing's there. Nobody's in there. It's just me. My dog's sleeping on he's sleeping on his pillow and nothing. And I'm like, who's here? But there's always a ton of things in that apartment. I saw something when everybody went to bed. My TV is straight ahead, kind of like I'm looking at this, but a little bit to the right, we had a couple of those large luggage rollers. We came back from a trip, whatever it was, and we left them there. You come back, you're like, oh, I'm not putting it away. I'll put it away tomorrow. Then 3 weeks later, 3 hours later. So I'm seeing there. I'm watching something. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and out of the peripheral vision, I see something pop up from behind the first luggage rack, and it has this like shimmery thing to it, where like there's a form to it, and it kind of like peeks up, like, is he paying attention?
Right.
And he's kind of leaning over, and without missing a beat, I go, I see you. You just keep walking. You can go.
Right.
And it stopped. It literally, it was stood up and went back down for a second. I said, I can see you. You can get up and move. It stood back up and it walked over, and then it went through the wall into my neighbor's apartment.
Wow. Wow. What crazy stuff. Seriously. Like,
I think
weird.
I've had that happen, like I will be backing up, and now with the new thing where you have the camera and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it'll stop my car just dead stop, and there's nothing there. I'm looking at the cameras. I'm looking all around. I get out of my car. I try to back up again. It does it again. So I mean, I understand what you're saying. These sensors are just, I get it now, what you're saying. I didn't think anything about it until you just said it.
Well, what's really interesting. So Aristol, I do think that a lot of the it depends on the program that they're using for the SLS, because it's kind of like an Ovilus. You can preload things or events, and then the computer will find something that's close to it. Whereas the old information for the Connect, or they go SLS now, the Connect was built with such precision and sensitivity that if a person was in Japan, Tokyo, Japan, having to do surgery, needed surgery, but that doctor was in New York, the doctor can use the Connect to literally, it's as if he was there. That's how sensitive this equipment is. Wow. And a lot of this equipment is reacting. There is something going past. There's something solid or some kind of material that's solid. Now, you have to understand something. Even though you're a spirit, right? If you have enough, we know that if you have enough energy, hey, you watch Ghost, you have to, he's trying to flick the penny. Right. If you get enough energy there, energy has mass. Mass, it's just as much as this has mass. So there's no difference. So that's why your sensors are picking up. It's picking up something. Yeah. It's, it's a lot easier to do, when the sun's shining and you're in 95 and it's nice out. It's really kind of creepy to a certain degree if you're on some backwoods road and all of a sudden, that comes out. Yeah. That's where it gets a little unnerving. Yeah. I mean, I had a camera that will detect images, detect things. I use it. It's one of the car cameras. So when I did the Bigfoot expedition, it films forward and rear, and I hooked it up to a really big a power source that was USB, so I don't have to have the car on. It's just going to keep running. Something. It looked like something was trying to get in there. It was very hesitant, and I left it in the car at several points. Even when I was sleeping in the car, when I said I had a Bigfoot looking in my window, and I didn't care because I was so tired. I had something come in, and the only way to delete something, like if you wanted to end something, like delete a file or delete the unit, you physically have to touch it. And the unit comes up, press to delete. Right. I didn't initiate that,
Wow.
but something else did.
Hmm.
So I do believe there's something to the SLS. I do believe something, to these car sensors. Maybe that's the next thing to SLS. You just build a suit. I'm going to do it right now, and someone else is going to go out and do it. Get a jumpsuit like Ghostbusters and put those sensors in all over and hook it up to a small computer so that if something comes behind you, it lights up and it makes a sound or the side. Do that. How interesting would that be?
Right.
The only problem is you may not be able to do it too close to the side, or if you're going like you two go out, you can't be on top of each other because you're going to start triggering it. But it would be pretty interesting to have that and then videotape the results of like when you get close, beep, 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 how close you are. And it tells you the meters or whatever. That would be great to have, especially in a haunted place location.
Heck yeah.
It's coming right at you. You're going to be, it's right there. It's better than a REM pod.
Right. Heck yeah.
There we go. Let's go. We'll call the Blondes Booze Bowden Buster.
There you go. And we have plenty of places we can test it
The
out.
Blondes Bowden Buster.
Blondes
I don't know,
Booze and
something.
Bowden Buster. Whatever. I think it would be great. My days of building, I use a lot of Tesla. I used to use a lot of Tesla coils on investigation, especially ghost stuff, because they're great. Because when something gets near it, it really, first of all, there's a lot of electricity going through energy, and it ramps up. When you get something, the spirit near there, they love that thing. It's kind of like remember the old magic ball that you touch? I had the storm. I have it right behind me over that shoulder, but you can't see it. Remember I bought a sharper image. I was like, I paid $30 for it. Like my boss, like, you're an idiot. Yeah, but they're cool. But they love that stuff. They love the energy coming off it. This is we're all made of energy. Energy is so important in this thing.
Yeah.
That's
the King brothers, they talked about using Tesla coils.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I just think, everybody's, you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And,
for sure.
and I like my buddy Al is like, I like old school and new school. I really do. I have so much, I've gotten so much problems from everybody, including, my other half. Why do you keep this old cell phone? Why do you have this old cell phone? The flip phones with the cameras on it, guess what? Take those with you on an expedition. They use different camera protocols behind it. You're going to capture stuff that you never will capture on a.
Really?
Oh, yes. Those, it's not going to be, you're not going to get the 4K, but you'll be surprised. Use those. If you're taking pictures with this phone and you're going, always take more than one. So whatever you're 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Take your old flip phone with you and you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, mock it, and then look at them side by side. And I'm telling you, the old phone's going to pick up stuff. You're going to be like, holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you can't even get those anymore.
You can buy them all over. We have a place called Faith Farms down here. So it's this religious organization where unfortunately a lot of people that are older, they pass away, they retire in Florida, and then the kids come down like, what are we going to do with mom's sofa that's covered in plastic? No one's going to want it. So they offer it to Faith Farms. They come, they pick it up, they clean it, and they sell it. You can get an 8-track cassette player there. I've seen them. I'm like, oh my God, this is classic.
Yeah, from the 70s. That's over 50 years old. They
have it, and it costs you $30 or less. You can get sofas, whatever. They sell old phones. The people always want old phones. Go to a tag sale. I guarantee you'll find an old phone. You'll find an old flip phone.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I don't even know if I have one here anymore.
Probably do, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, I'd have to really go looking.
I'm telling you, try it. because
Yeah.
it's going to be weird because like, you know, how you can, they usually worked on an SD card or something
Right.
bigger, or the what the heck is the chip in there? I forgot the name of it. It's the chip that's for
The
the
card,
SIM
yeah.
card.
Sims.
But they sell the SIM reader on Amazon sells it.
Mhm.
And all you got to do is take it out and put it in there, and you can copy all the videos and put the thing back in your phone, and that phone will last you. I have a phone that was it the Star, not the StarTech, one of the first ones with the camera, an LG, seriously lasts at least a week, and that was with use
Yeah.
versus
Hmm.
this
I think
stupid thing.
SD cards, isn't it?
Which
Isn't
one?
it the SD cards? The SD cards?
Yeah, either the big ones or the smaller ones,
Yeah.
or
Depends on.
even yeah,
Yeah.
and just take pic. Trust me, try it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
It's
I may have an old one here somewhere.
it's the way the camera is designed and the sensor.
Man, and them things don't die either. Like them old flip phones, they work forever.
They work great, and for everybody out there, ladies and gentlemen, but I always go, tell the ladies, keep them in your car because 911 works with all of them.
Oh, okay.
So if your phone dies, you have that in like 911, and you
Yeah.
get to call them. They don't have your GPS location, but at least you can call somebody.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yep.
So if you have
Yeah,
young kids going to college,
it's a good
I'm
idea.
all right, mom, leave me alone. No, give them that. Like, just put this in your car.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
You got a question here.
Sure.
Pancho asks, does your guest have an opinion on polarized lenses help see odd things, cryptids or spirits?
Yes, I love them. I do use polarized lenses, and then what the heck they called? The Museum of Tarot has I forgot the name of Dyson lenses, and it sees you can see the energy with it. I use the Dyson lens. I actually purchased Dyson goggles, and you can take the lenses out and put it on the camera, and you can see energy on it. Polarized also, it cuts out some of the BS that's there. There's nothing digital about it. It's just the light wave and spectrum coming through. So I use that. I used to make my own GoPro ghost hunting full spectrum. And what they do is they take out the UV filter that's there and they pop it out. They screw the lens back in. And now you have full spectrum. And I like full spectrum because you're pulling in everything. There was, what the heck's his name? I'm friendly with him. He used to be on Ghost Hunters. He was Irish. Barry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Remember Ghost Hunters International? Barry had, I think it was I want to say it was an Olympus camera back then. And it took 3 images. One was full spectrum, one was high definition or HDR, and the other one was regular. So if they took a picture of this right now, you'd get 3 images of the same thing, but a little bit off from each other.
Right.
So I love that. If you can create a camera, I tried doing this once. It's just too much. It eats batteries, and it just didn't work out the way I wanted to. I want a camera that does infrared, like that's clear. Like, I want it black and white, sepia. I want the full spectrum, and I want there was one other all at the same time. So when I'm taking pictures, so I go click, click, click. I have all these different things up there because some things can bypass certain. We talked about spectrums before. What's visible light, whereas you can't get away from FLIR.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, the heat of something will always be present until you get to a point where you don't physically generate heat, and that's you change your molecular structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. Barry does seem a little awkward, but it's a UK thing. He's a really great guy. He's very, very, real men only use full spectrum.
He's one of the few I have not met.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like, he's taking it from a different angle. He went back to real life type of thing. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, Barry was great. I like that. There's just think outside the box. Don't always, you know, turn on this flashlight if you're here. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was it? Who was it, Brandy, that we had on the show that was on Ghost Hunters International? Who was that?
Is that Roz?
Rob.
Rob Damaris.
Yeah.
Rob Maris? He seemed like a nice guy. I don't know him personally.
Nice guy.
I know
Yeah,
Joe Chin. Joey Chin was great. He's a great guy.
Yep.
Always loved him on there. I've met all these people. It's just I'm so tired. When you have children and you like mom.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and all of our friends, all the mothers that complain about the same thing, like every time you hear mom, do a squat. And it's the mom workout. Mom. And they're doing squats, you know, and they're like, all of them said, I'll be dead in 5 minutes.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to get up back up. You know, I do a squat and that's where I'd stay. I'd be stuck.
You know, just imagine me like that's how your day is going. Mom. You're going through all this craziness. And then you have somebody that you don't know somehow appears in your house. Turn on this flashlight if you're real.
Right.
You know what I'm gonna do? Take the flashlight. I'm gonna take my UV light. I'm just gonna hit him in the head with it. Get out of my house.
You know what? Speaking of the flashlights and paranormal investigations, I'm real weird with flashlights. The people that take off the end and let them sit there, that can be so manipulated. I don't agree with those. The only flashlight that I would suggest that I'm like, okay, maybe that we got something here, and I've only seen it like twice since I've been doing ghost hunting, is the touch. What are your opinions on the? Because I mean, a flashlight, you know, people take off the end, so it's barely on. You know what I'm saying? So it can. You move the table, it's going to come on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's too easily to be manipulated.
Yep.
You know, I like things that break streams that could trigger an alarm. So, you know, if you do have a UV light, which is not visible, but it's triggered to a certain color alarm, that something has to walk past that.
Yeah.
Right. As far as a flashlight, this is one of those. It has that rubber button there, and sometimes they do get stuck. And it's one of those where you can unscrew it, whatever. But the slightest thing can really set it off.
Right.
You know, and another thing is, I think that when you go out and you do these investigations, do you ladies monitor atmospheric conditions?
Oh, we check all that.
Yeah, humidity and pressure are usually what I focus on.
Yeah, so you know, you have to monitor the weather radar, because if you have a storm like a lightning storm 10 to 15 miles away, even 20 miles away, that can actually trigger your flashlight. Static and the energy could over run it. So it's, you know what, I think I don't know, have you what is it called, Statcom? Ron Yacovetti, Lourdes Gonzalez, Tony Raithman, and his wife, I forgot their name. They have this Staticom or Staticom.
Okay.
If you don't know who they are,
I'm not familiar with them.
Get you guys in touch with them. They are awesome. They have, it's kind of like intelligent audio, but the way they're doing it is, it's so much different than that. And I was, bored. They run it every once in a while on Facebook, and if they do, I'm going to try to connect you guys to it. I don't know about if there's any East Coast, West Coast rap battles in the ghost paranormal community. I don't subscribe to any of it.
Yeah,
we all can play in the same sandbox, so leave your attitudes behind everybody. But I've been on there. I've been on, and they're doing a live session, and they use computer, and I go, tell me the lottery numbers. Just did a comment, and you hear, I heard it, 2 different voices, Bryan Bowden, and then Ron. Yeah, Bryan Bowden's here, and I'm like, well, have them tell me the lottery numbers, because that's what I always ask for. You're psychic, give me the lottery numbers. I can't give the lottery numbers. Oh, here we go. How do I get the experience? Get a job. How do I get a job? Get the experience. It's the same game. but it's pretty interesting, and it's
Mhm.
real-time conversation.
Yeah.
And if you can work with them on some of your investigations, they're great. They do great presentations. Blow your mind.
Wow. Yeah,
Blow
definitely.
the doors off of you.
Definitely get us a hookup. We'd
I
appreciate that.
definitely will. And they're wonderful people. They're
Yeah.
really, really great.
Where are they from? Where are they out of?
Ron and Lourdes, I believe, is in Jersey, and Tony, I think they moved closer here. They may be down south, North Carolina or something like Tennessee. I don't know. Maybe they're really close by. Wonderful people. I think Ron and Lourdes were over in the UK representing them.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to explain, but it's really incredible. And you have to understand something. When you have these EVP phenomenon, ITC, again, this goes back to some physics there. We're energy. We have energy going through us. We have electromagnetic energy, just like we're going to date ourselves. Cassette tapes. And what you did was you put it's an electromagnetic imprint on there. That's what this is. That's what ITC is. But when you have a back and forth conversation, that tells you there's more to the afterlife than you think.
Right. Right.
So it's really, really interesting to look at it in a different light, you know. And it would be great for, they'd be great there at your conference and everything. So
yeah, it'd be awesome. Be awesome. Wow. Man, you're just a wealth of information.
I know. I'm just sitting here learning all kinds of stuff. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess this is what it's all about, really. I mean, that's why we talk to everybody, is because not everybody knows everything.
No,
you may learn something.
I hate when these people, I've been introduced and like, oh, he's an expert. I'm like, I'm not an expert. I have a lot more experience than you do. And every time I present, I was supposed to present at the Bigfoot camping weekend. I lost my voice. Thank you to having children, human petri dishes. I couldn't. It was just miserable.
Germ factories, yeah.
Oh my God. So I couldn't speak. I was supposed to do, and I can do it at a later date. I came up with protocols, and it's called the Active Intelligent Encounter. And this works with cryptids. It works with, Bigfoot. It works with ghosts. It works with a lot of things. And it's based on intent and, putting energy out there, sound, frequency, vibration, and resonance. And I was going to do this whole presentation on it, which would have blown the minds of a lot of people, because everybody with Bigfoot's like, so we got those Bigfoot calls, and old Hank did. There's more to it. And when I've been using this for decades, and I found out that when you put certain frequency and vibration in the air, it attracts all these different cryptids, entities that are on the other side. And they come closer. I remember doing the interview for Hudson Valley UFO, and I was talking to producer, because when you do these TV things, you have to, basically it's an audition. And I'm like, I'm not doing a dog and pony show for you.
Right.
So he said, I like what I hear. I said, I'm telling you right now, I'm bringing in craft that night. And he laughed. I'm bringing in craft. It's like, okay, you're bringing craft. So we went out to this area. And what was interesting is the original director, he had COVID or tested positive for COVID. So they got a new director. Her name was Layla. And so there's Melissa Title, Ben Hansen, and Mark D'Antonio there. And I start doing the protocols, and we do the singing bowls, and we start going in there, and we're ramping up the energy there.
Yeah.
And I use an ovilus. I have an audio ovilus. And the first word coming out of the ovilus is Layla. And this, what did it just say? It said your name. She freaked out. And then I said, look there. And we had these objects coming from the sky. They came down, and they were curious about us, and they were coming over to us on this big lake. And Mark D'Antonio, who's a great guy, really smart. He's trying to figure it out. He couldn't figure shit out. And Ben Hansen was just blown away by the whole thing. Yeah. So at the end of it, it's one of those shows where they said, "Aren't you thankful that these guys were here to help you?" And I'm like, I don't need your help. I'm like, I work with colleagues all the time. It's great to work with these people. He's like, the producer goes, "Holy crap, you weren't kidding." I said, "I told you, I'm bringing craft in," and that is real time. So next time we'll do it, and you guys can practice it. But you got to be serious about it because, and I'm a jokester, but when it comes to this, it's all about your intent. And if you're not serious to have the proper intent, they're not coming.
Yep. Agreed.
Also, you're bringing in Bigfoot or Dogman or some other. Make sure you want to bring that in there because when they make their presence known, it's not a joke. If you've seen these things pretty close up, they're massive.
Right.
And, bringing in a rabid pit bull, it's like, like going to the puppy store, like, well, I asked for it. There you go. Or what Rosemary Ellen Guiley said to me, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. She was a great lady, wasn't she?
She was awesome.
Yeah.
She was really, really wonderful. Her husband was wonderful. And what was great is I can call her up. We can have just plain old conversation. What about this? What about that? I wish I had more of a relationship like John Zaffis had an amazing relationship with Rosemary. One of my brothers, who's also a psychic, Carl Petrie, I'd love to get him on your show. He's over your left shoulder. He sees like a little TV camera, and it plays out everything. So, and he was really, really tight with Rosemary, and Rosemary brought him to meet John Zaffis once, and so someone asked him, like, are you afraid of anything? Because you must have been asked that. Like, Chris, are you afraid, Brandy, of anything going in there? And he goes, there was one time where Rosemary took me and we met John Zaffis, and John didn't have the camera, and that scared the hell out of me. Because everybody has it. So he's wondering what was going on. And then if you think about what John Zaffis does with all the demon stuff, you really have to put up a wall. So he's not going to reveal to anyone, whether he does it intentionally or knowingly, I don't know. But that was interesting. She was
absolutely. And on top of it, he also has a museum, full of haunted, negative haunted items, Yeah,
it's talk about a hobby,
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, I can collect guitars and guns, whatever.
Right.
That would be better. We just put, I don't need I just need more guitars and guns. I don't need a doll. Dolls. If I hear on an investigation a little girl's voice, I'm like, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm out. They're never little girls. They're always 6 something, and it's like, you want to play? No, I'm done. Go home, lady. Yeah. The hell with that. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's the only thing I don't do demonic stuff. I won't play with that. That's above my pay grade. And little girls on an investigation. And I'm like, oh crap, not a little girl, please. No.
I think that's Krista and I are the same way. It's like, oh geez, don't let it be a child. Don't let it be a child. Please no.
Because we know it's not a child most of the time.
But it's not like the male children. Like, they're usually kicking a ball. It's supposed to be that innocent little girl, and they're not innocent. They're just standing there, and they're like, they got like 50 knives in them or something. It's something always freaky. I don't want to deal with it.
Or they portray themselves as a little girl. My friend Tony Pickman, who lived in the Sally house, when that haunting first started with him, he saw a little girl and he drew her, but she wasn't a little girl. I assure you. She wasn't.
They never are. They never are. Unless you're in an orphanage, they never are. It's always some massive black
Yeah.
void of like muscle or whatever it is.
Yeah. I also don't believe that. I mean, yes, there are some children's spirits. I just don't believe there's a whole lot of them, only because I feel like when they pass, when they die, there's always someone there to help them cross over. And if they don't have family, I believe in Jesus. Like I feel like, Jesus is there to help them. Why would Jesus want a child stuck here? So I believe children ghosts are not children ghosts. I think they are something negative portraying themselves.
Yeah, well, I do believe that God makes the innocent make it. You know what I mean? That they're helped along.
Okay, so I'm friendly with the Barrys and all the people involved in the Hoover House in Waynesboro, PA. Great time. It's a wonderful bed and breakfast. It's all haunted. It's great. There's one room that has its own private bathroom. You sleep in there. There's an old lady that will be sleeping with you in bed. She just comes in bed with you. So I didn't tell my kids when we went to Gettysburg the first time about it, but I wanted to stay there because they do something in the house called table tipping. Now, I love all these people, but I'm also, I'm suspect of certain things. I have to investigate it. Table tipping is like, oh, it's moving by itself.
Right.
It 100% legit. I kid you not. Wow. Now, my dad died about a year prior to that, but my wife's mother I was thinking maybe they can connect. And when I was there, everybody, my wife, my two daughters went to the other room. They weren't there. And there were two spirits apparently fighting to get onto the table, because there's a spirit that guards the table, and that spirit will only allow good spirits in, not BS. So it's like a gateway, and they have an arrangement with this spirit, and it works out wonderful. You can do table tipping alone. It's not.
Yeah, freaky.
It's a little bit weird. You don't know what you're doing. I always say go with a partner. I mean, it's a great date, whatever. So I'm there with Jim and his sister and his brother-in-law and whatever, and I'm not touching anything. I'm just hovering my fingers above it, right? Hovering. And so they're fighting. So they said, okay, there's two spirits here. You guys, got to take a turn. So the spirits figure it out, and they come in. Is this a male spirit? If it doesn't move, or if the answer is yes, it leans towards you, tips towards you. Okay. So they go through that. Is it an A, a B? I wanted the mother, my mother-in-law to come in. And so it was a female. So they said, is this for Bryan? And they said, no. Is this and they went to my wife and a tip. So I had to call her over, and I called over my oldest daughter or whatever. They sat there, and she went through the whole process. It was her mother coming through.
Wow.
Now I told her, I said, listen, you can ask questions in your mind and you can play around. Like, that first car we had was a pink Cadillac, right? And it wasn't, and and she was doing it, and it was answering correctly.
Wow.
And what happened is she raised my oldest daughter. So when it leans really into you, it's like them giving you a hug. But here's the thing, like I said to you earlier, when things take place, I get it. It starts to play out in my mind's eye as if I'm watching a movie. So I'm seeing this, and I know it's this. I see part of her, and I'm seeing everything. They're emotional. This is great. So then they ask, the other spirit wants to come in. So my mother-in-law is like Stonewall Jackson. He reluctantly leaves. The other person, it was for my wife too. And they go through the alphabet, and it was M, and they're like, okay, then they go to the next letter, A, X. And my wife's like, X. And she doesn't know what and I go, oh my God, that's your father's brother.
Wow.
My wife's father's brother was killed as a baby by the Nazis in Hungary.
Wow.
He's been in limbo. He's been in between Earth and he passed away as a baby. He's been stuck there. He never went into the light.
Oh, that's awful.
Mhm.
We literally, and it was really weird. I never met this man before in my life. I saw his face. He looked like a young Tesla. The first time I've ever experienced it, ever have done this, the whole goose pimples, this golden light came down. This man walked in and he took off. It was incredible. We actually,
Wow.
he was in this ether for about 80 years.
Wow, that's sad.
So I understand what you're saying about Jesus, and I agree with you. I don't think Jesus would want any children, whatever. And I have
Yeah.
a friend that goes to haunted houses and crosses them over. They don't
Wow.
like her place. But I think it's, whatever. Yeah, I don't want to be stuck here. So
Right.
I kind of agree with you, but that was really, really weird. But
Yeah.
think about it. If you go and if it's so traumatic and you don't know what's going on, you end up in this ether. It's all black. And then you
Yeah.
see this beam coming. Like, what is it? Stay away from it.
Right.
Yeah. So it was weird.
Wow.
Sorry
Well,
about
this
that.
has been fun.
Mhm.
You seriously are just like a wealth of knowledge. I always enjoy having you on here.
Well,
funny
we don't even put on there a topic. Have you ever noticed that, Ryan? There's never a topic.
Oh,
It's just
well.
kind of like it's just open.
You know what? It's great. Your audience is awesome. I love everybody in it. I love you ladies. You guys are great. Tex, and he's great too. And he sounds like the wonderful mystical Oz in the opener.
Yeah.
And then our Michigan pirate comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Mar. I mean, you're all great, and I love talking to you because we can actually have a conversation. We can answer questions.
Yeah.
And anytime I have something breaking or whatever, I love, I'm always honored to be back with you guys whenever you want me to.
Well, it's an open invitation. Seriously.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to go and meet everybody for once. So that
Yeah.
may be happening this year. So we'll try to figure that one out.
Yes.
We'll hope so. We'll hope so.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. But I appreciate all you do. And
Thank you.
I love your stuff. So keep going.
Same with you. Like, you're not only a great guest on here, but we consider you a friend as well.
Same here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Tex, Rob, these
Mhm.
beautiful ladies. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's like I need to produce a show and have all four of you on. It'd be like Scooby-Doo. You just need a dog.
Oh yeah, 'cause that conversation, don't even lay any tracks because we won't stay on anything. You just forget it. We will derail.
It has to be one of those big, like Winnebagos, just to get Tex's hat in there. You know, that big one. That Charlie Daniels old hat, whatever.
Well, he does drive a big truck.
I'm sure he does.
He does. He absolutely
I'm
does.
sure he does. But that would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to do a real life Scooby-Doo type of a group. That would be great. That would be the best TV show.
We did a paranormal event several years ago, and I also am friends with reenactors, and one of them happens to be the Headless Horseman. And we did a reenactment at one of our Paracons that we put on of Scooby-Doo. We had the whole 9 yards. And my dog is an English Mastiff, and he was.
Oh my God, yeah. There it is.
It was fantastic. It was awesome. Seriously, it was great.
Who played Jackie?
So don't threaten me with a good time. I'm just saying.
No, it's great. I mean, we investigated. We got kicked out. My buddy Al and I. We investigated the cemetery where he's Ichabod Crane and the whole thing took place.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I took a picture and it's the bridge where the Headless Horseman was seen. So I told my buddy Al, run towards me and look scared. So I took the picture and then I went home and I put myself on the Headless Horseman with my head as the pumpkin, whatever. And it was great. He's like, you're freaking crazy. So
funny. That's awesome. That's hilarious.
That would be great. We're gonna figure this out. I gotta get a couple producers.
For sure. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. And tomorrow night, you have Brandy, but you also have Jason. You knew that though, right, Brandy? You read all
I didn't know that. I did not know that until yesterday. I think it was yesterday. They told me, "Oh, you're on with Jason on Friday." I went, "Well, okay." I mean, I didn't know, but I know now.
And Jason stepped up to the plate. So, yeah, Jason will be on tomorrow with Brandy, and he's got a show idea, and I'll tell you about it backstage.
All right, sounds great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you once again, Sir Bryan, and thank you to everybody tuning in. And Brandy and Jason, we'll see you all tomorrow night.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.